ladies and gentlemen, what you have here there is from Nordic Spaces, which you're going to talk to us about today. How are you, Josh?
I'm good.
This is a piece that I associate with a lot of extended techniques and really kind of atmospheric kind of piece of music. Let's get into playing the piece. What should we look out for, and what are some of the things that you would remind us when we're approaching this piece?
Yeah, so this piece, I guess, has quite a bit of extended technique, which just means playing an instrument in a different way than it normally gets played. So it can include anything from, hitting the piano keys with dead fish to to all these little sounds and stuff like that. And it can feel potentially kind of strange to do that if you're not used to doing that. And so I think, to me, and certainly sometimes modern composers, it sometimes feels as if they just throw some extended technique at a piece because they can. But I think both for a composer and for a performer, you need to make it needs to make sense to you. You have to have it make sense to you in order to have it fit into the piece. So at the very beginning, we have this. And again, that could be the sound of the wind, or rustling or something like that. But ideally not to feel that it's just an exercise, right? To kind of, so that to have it feel as if it's something you thought of, right? It's not just, this is what's written here, I guess I better play it, right? That it makes sense to you. And right, the next bar with these little, and again, it's just a chance to do a little bit of sound. And it's an interesting question, right? Like, what is music? I think we tend to initially, music is melody, right? The melody, or rhythmic, right? Music with a rhythm. And then maybe harmony, right? There are some pieces where there's not a clear melody, and it's the harmony that's really very interesting. But music can also be extended to maybe that idea of a thread running through it, and so sounds as well that have meaning, right? And I would say music is emotion, right? So that sounds that create a certain atmosphere or emotion. And there's a lovely quote I heard once that music or sound is touch at a distance, and I love that idea. And so to try to make these sounds make sense, I guess. And this whole first page, for example, with these fairly slow moving chords, to think about how each note moves to the next, to create. So with a harp, unlike, say, a string instrument where we can sustain a sound into the next note, here we have to do that in our mind. That so rather than, we're done, great, forget about that one, what's next? Great, what's the next one? What's the next one? That we have to create that in our mind, that sense of continuous sound and thread from note to note. So I think that's both the maybe challenge, but also the joy in a piece like this that's fairly slow for a lot of it. And I did a Harp Tuesday episode on that middle section with a 4-2-3-1 finger independence movement, which of course is fairly challenging. But apart from that, I think it's just breathing, right, and taking your time and enjoying it. And it's a great one to record yourself, listen back, see if it sounds the way you think it does and the way you want it to, and maybe adjust and do that again and do that again. So yeah.
And when we purchase the sheet music, there is a link to a spot where you have recorded all the extended techniques that are used in this.
Exactly. So I try to there's some pictures in the sheet music. You get some pictures and instructions, but these days it's so nice because you can also then record videos and you can actually see all these in action, and that should hopefully answer any questions. So you're not left, what's this little squiggly line mean? That you know exactly what I had in mind for all of these techniques.
And do we need a 34 string harp for this piece? I think you used the full range or pretty close to the full range.
Excellent question. Yeah, I'm just looking here. I go down to at least this D. No, I do go down to the C. So, and often, right, well, I do have that idea of a 34 string harp in mind. So yeah, you do need a 34 string harp. Not necessarily fully levered. It's in the key of E flat, and there are no lever changes. But you need to be able to play in E flat, I guess.
Sounds good. And this is also available in your web store.
Right. Exactly.
JoshLing.com.
JoshLing.com/store.
There we go. All right. Well,
perfect.
Thank you very much. And don't forget to check out the Harpers in the Wild video of Josh playing this piece against a moonrise, isn't it? Or is it? I don't even know
exactly.
if it's a rise.
Moonrise.
Or
Yeah, moonrise. Yeah.
Not that is not the sunrise. That was a different one. Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, this was great.
Yeah.